Hey there, my foxy peeps. So, back on part 6. And this will be the last part too, because wow, that's a lot of talking I just done did. All in one day. I don't know if I've ever talked like that before, but I thought I'd give you a whole gist of what my life was like and why I am who I am. So, what makes me me? And on to my adult life. So I graduated high school. And I went and worked at a summer camp. And that's where I got my first boyfriend. We didn't last very long because, well, he was just after my car, pretty much, and the fact that I liked to work. So we ended up breaking up. I was like, oh, woo. But this is where I ended up being like, wow, these girls are skinnier than me. I want to be skinny. Though I was skinny-ish, I wasn't skinny. So I quit eating. And I ended up with anorexia. No doubt. And I ended up getting a job inside the town where I graduated. And I was living with my grandma and grandpa. And, I was making really good money and everything. I was putting all of my money away. And my grandma's like, just put it all away, blah, blah, blah. And I had bought myself a couple different cars. First car pissed me off, so I sold it. And, well, I sold it to my dad, where he had to, sell it. But he bought it off of me because he needed a car up in Bismarck or whatever. So, and then I bought another little car. My pride and joy. I bought that on my 21st birthday, or around my 21st birthday, because it was going to be a gift for me. And I had still, not been with a guy, nothing. I was still virgin at the age of 21. I was virgin at the age of 22. And I had not drank until the age of 22. Now, the legal drinking age, of course, is 21. Depending upon the states, because here in South Dakota, it is actually the age of 18 as long as your parent is handing over the beverage to you and you are not getting it yourself. And it's only in certain bars. But anyway, that's a different story. So, yeah. So, by the age of 22, I had met my ex-husband, who, my family did not approve of, but I was like, I want to get out of the house. I want to do this. I want to do that. So, I moved all the way to Valley City with this dude, around Valley City anyway. And, so we ended up getting married. I got pregnant, of course, and, I actually say that my oldest son cured me of my anorexia. Because if it wouldn't have been for him, I'd probably be dead by now, because, I was like, oh my god, I gotta be skinny, And then, I think I was, working at a farm, / also working at a grocery store about this time. And I quit the grocery store, I quit the farm, and I went and got a job at a restaurant to be a waitress. They had cut down my hours. And yes, I was goth. When I left high school, I was literally full out goth. I had on the gothic eye makeup, paled out white face, and the black lips. I went to work looking like that. No one really cared. They were all like, oh, what a nice look. They thought I was cool. But, I had moved over there. I had quit kind of wearing makeup for the time being. And after having, both of my kids, I let my hair grow out, which, nice long hair. But anyways, so while I was pregnant with my oldest boy, I was working at a restaurant as a wait staff. Oh my god, I can't talk. And so I was working there, and I was just like, wow. They were cutting my hours. I was working 1 day a week. So, oddly and weirdly, if anybody has ever heard of Pizza Corner Pizza, which is originated out of Valley City, North Dakota, you would know that they have a factory there. Well, oddly and weirdly enough, the owners and founders of Pizza Corner Pizza, the Subrats, yes, that is their last name, the Subrats, is my family. They are cousins of mine. So I went over to the Pizza Corner Pizza Factory and I was just like, I need a job. And I gave him my name and said that my grandpa is cousins with your dad. And boom, just like that, I had a job. They were like, oh yeah, you can work here. I had free range there because I was family. They didn't care. I was Prager's too at the time, so they were a little more lenient for me. So I was working there. My first day, I like almost fainted because the smell of, burger and pepperoni and cheese was like overwhelming towards my little tiny Prager's nose. But I worked up until I couldn't anymore and went kind of on maternity leave. They didn't pay you for it. So I had my kid. I was going to actually try and do the stay-at-home mom thing, but after about 2 months of being at home and no job, I was like, I can't do it. I went back to work. Well, it was too soon. So I had to quit again. And I sat at home for a little while because it was an emergency C-section with that child. And so I wasn't quite healed up yet. So I went and worked at the farm again, where I think my ex-husband, who I'm, still married to, was actually working there. So I went and worked there again. And I was making more money there than I was anywhere else. I was making $8.50 an hour, which is pretty good pay when, minimum wage at that time was $5.15. So, going further, after I think Pete was about a year old, my oldest boy, he, I was like, I'm going to put him in daycare and I want to go and get a job. So I went and I got a job at a bottle factory. It's a job. It had health insurance, so I took it. And I put him in part-time daycare. I was working Sweens, and my then husband had gotten a different job and was working days. And he's a diesel mechanic, so he was making good money. And I was working at the bottle factory where I was making pretty darn good money too. So my oldest boy was sitting in daycare, and after I think like a year working there, a year and a half, something like that, I decided, I want to have a baby. So I ended up, getting pregnant again, and I had my youngest boy. And I didn't want to put him in daycare after that point. I was just like, well, maybe I'll just do the whole work graveyards, because they had graveyards opened at that time. I was like, I'll just work some graveyards, and if I didn't like it, I could go back to my normal shift. So I was working graveyards, and the then husband was working day shift, and I was trying to be, not have my kids in daycare. Well, that wasn't working. That lasted about 3 days because I felt like I was a terrible mother because one kid was running around the house and the other one was a baby who was like literally bawling, and because I'm deaf in one ear, it was really becoming an issue because I wasn't getting enough sleep, because when I would fall asleep, I would fall asleep on my good ear and not be able to hear. So I was like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't. So I went back to the swing shift, put the kids in daycare. Yeah, that was that. But then I was like, I want to pick up my gothic makeup again and be all gothy again. And I had literally, by this point, switched over to paganism. I became a full-out witch. I was no longer, I was just like, too many issues with the church that I was just like, yeah, I just want to be a pagan and a witch. So I completely reverted myself. And after I think my kid was about a year old, my youngest one, is when I started getting my tattoos on me. And then I stopped with those tattoos, and that was it. Because, you know, they cost money. And, yeah. And then how I got down to South Dakota was after my divorce. I think I lived in Valley City for about a year. And after the divorce, I was just like, you know, I was getting horrible migraines. He was literally almost stalking me because he wanted to know exactly what I was doing at all times. And he had people monitoring me, which was kind of creepy. So I was like, I'm going to move where he can't even see me or anything. So I moved down to South Dakota, where I got a job in a casino and make pretty good money, you know, now. And yeah, I mean, the guys, you know, that I've dated after, you know, my ex-husband, I'd have to say the one and only I had dated a Native American. And this was the one before the one that I just recently no longer have. The Native American, I would have to say, was probably the best guy I've ever been with. He was the kindest, the most caring. It was just, he quit speaking to me and I got angry at him. And I thought, well, I'll just rub this in your face. And yeah. Down to anything out of anger. But that is why me, you know, is me. Because I'm one of those, you know, oh, well, I was given a lemon. I'm going to make some lemon juice. Some lemonade. Because, you know, I was throwing so many hard balls and I was able to duck from them and prosper into something. And, I mean, by no means is my life complete now or done, you know, with, you know, learning something. But this is me to this point of why, you know, I am the way I am. So, hope you enjoyed this little series of 6 videos. And like, comment, or subscribe, because I randomly upload videos. And thanks for watching. Bye!